Top official in Iran says the country's so-called morality police is being abolished, but there's been no confirmation from the broader regime. The unit is responsible for enforcing the country's strict dress code. Protests erupted in the country after 22-year-old Mahsa Amini died after being arrested by the force. According to human rights activists in Iran, over 450 protesters and 60 security forces have been killed since the start of the unrest. Thousands more have been detained. For more, Azam Jangravi joins me now. She is a former political prisoner and an Iranian women's rights advocate. So, Azam, what is life like under the morality police?
Thank you for having me. Morality police is only one of the ways women are suppressed in Iran. When I lived in Iran, they arrested me a few times. It is the worst experience for a woman to be in their detention. They humiliate you, they treat you like thugs and thieves. They take your photo and make a case for you in their system. They force you to sign a paper to promise not to repeat the offense. They call your parents and ask them to bring you proper clothes. And this was one of the most humiliating part of it.
And when you removed your hijab, what did you think would happen at the time?
I was aware that this was going to be very difficult. I knew that the law is very strict about women's hijab, especially about protesting it publicly. However, I believed in what I was doing because I was tired of seeing women suffering under Islamic Republic laws. I didn't just want to protest hijab. I tried to protest women's rights violations because I wanted to fight for every Iranian woman, especially my daughter. I wanted to see my daughter can grow up free, be herself, and follow her own dream.
And so after you were arrested, you were lucky enough to be able to make it out of the country. For those who are there now, what do you think the decisions are that they have to make if they want to do what you did or what others who are protesting are doing? Help us understand what the thinking might be that goes through their heads as they choose whether to go out and protest or not.
People are risking arrest and their lives when they go into the streets to protest. Since September, over 18,000 people have been arrested. Over 417 people have been killed by security forces, including at least 60 children and minors. But despite this brutal repression, the protests have continued. The government is now also beginning show trials of arrested protesters. At least 40 people may get to death penalty, including several minors. These people are being sentenced after very short trials and cannot choose their own lawyers. Their life really in danger.
There's also a 3-day strike that is beginning right now in Iran. What does that say to you? That seems much more widespread. What does that say to you about these protests and how deep they go into the culture?
When I look back to when these protests started 2 months ago, I am shocked. I cannot believe what they have become. We have never seen a strike like this and such protests. There have been big protests before, but this time it's different. Every day we see protests across the country. People are united and the protesters are continuing after 2 months. this protest movement doesn't have a leader, but it is still organizing naturally among activists. This makes me optimistic. The people in Iran are, I think they are so brave, and we are, especially activists outside of Iran, are really optimistic about these protests.
There's been so much confusion about whether the morality police are going away or not, but if they did go away, do you think that would do anything that would change the culture, and would it do anything to stop these protests?
Let me explain in this way. We cannot have Islamic Republic that respect women's rights. For example, the mandatory hijab is part of the Islamic Republic's main ideology. It is a fundamental part of the Sharia laws that the political system is based on. Because of this, the Islamic Republic won't give up on mandatory hijab. The report that Iran would end the mandatory public, that the morality police was fake news. Iran's government know how to mislead the global media. The official who first talked about this was very unclear, but the news was promoted around the world. One member of parliament even said that the government of Iran will raise the cost of people without hijab.
Okay, Azam Jangravi, thank you so much for being with us.